we're here trying to prevent my main water line from freezing here at our one of our Airbnbs. Let's get over here. And this ugly contraption here is what we were left with a shutoff valve. So even when we shut this, the water to the cabin and drain it all out when we're not here in the winter, we don't have to worry about that freezing. We can use my low point drain. This and this line here still gets frozen when it gets real cold. So we're in an uninsulated crawl space here. So we want to take care of a solution for this so it doesn't freeze. And we're also going to replace all this garbage here. Someone used some black iron pipe down here, which was a terrible idea. And we're just going to pretty this up and make it a lot easier to shut off and winterize and drain. And I got my helper here. You ready to do some work? All right. Here at our Airbnb property, finally taking some time to deal with the water supply issue here. Their plumbing issue under this cabin, among other things, is a mess, and that all needs to be taken care of. But today, just want to focus on this guy. All right, here's the plan. I'm going to start with this new brass pipes here with a special drain valve that I'll show you how this works so we can shut the water to the cabin and then be able to drain out our new low point drain, and this will go up. For the freezing pipe, we're going to be installing this electric heat cable, and then I also picked up some of the thickest pipe insulation I could find. I think this is like 1.5 inches thick. Okay, here's the heat cable that I'm going to be installing. It has a built-in thermostat that kicks it on when the air temperature hits 37. And then it also gives you plenty of instructions here about where to place the cable, how to attach it, how to insulate it, and everything that they recommend as far as installation goes. All right, so let's get to work. I'm just trenching out as much as I can on this main line here because I want to get it insulated and buried as much as possible, and then get that heat tape on it so that we don't freeze up this line anymore going to our main shutoff, because there's really no way to drain this. There's a curb shutoff out in the yard, but even if I shut that off, there's no way to get all the water out of this. So we got to make sure this doesn't freeze again. Okay, I'm attaching this wire to the bottom of the pipe, and that's per instructions, at least for this size of pipe. They recommend that the heat come up from the bottom and just radiate upwards. So just kind of attaching it every 8 to 10 inches here to keep it firm onto the pipe. Our next step's going to be, I'm going to put some foil tape on there just to hold it better and help transfer the heat up into the pipe. Then we're going to wrap it with that insulation and then put some dirt on some of it. Listen, check the instructions. Some of these have different instructions regarding what type of insulation you can put on it and whether you can bury it and stuff like that. But we're going to get this one wrapped up so that we don't have any issues with this ever freezing, and then we'll go ahead and tackle this mess of an old shutoff valve and try to make it a little bit neater. All right, we got the new shutoff assembled here on the bench. So our water's gonna come in here, and normally this will be on. We're gonna pass through right up to this. We're gonna transition to a 3/4 inch PEX. It's gonna go up into my manifold. We'll look at that another day. Now, this is a nifty little valve here. It's basically 2 valves in one. If I wanna drain the system, I'm just gonna shut this off. It's gonna block the fresh water flow coming in. it's gonna open this passageway right here. Okay, and then all I have to do is open this guy, and this has a hose attachment. So we can run a hose, drain the system. It'll gravity drain out the lowest point right through there. I guarantee my 4-year-old's gonna love to play with this. All right, we turn the main back on. Looks like we don't have any leaks up until this point here. My new supply is coming down a little bit over there, so I'm gonna dig some of this out, get a new block to mount this to, and then hook up our 3/4 inch PEX main line to here, and then I can finish attaching my heat wire. So I actually doubled this wire back around the ball valve, and it's actually what the instructions recommend and allow you to do. You can actually cross over the wire itself and wrap that valve just to get a little extra heat going into that brass valve. And then I'm going straight up the PEX pipe all the way until it goes into the house. This stuff is approved for use on basically every type of water pipe imaginable, so you don't have to worry about the transition from metal to plastic. All right, and you can see the final product there with the foil tape on, and it's ready for insulation. And at the top here, you can see the little thermostat sticking out. That part needs to remain outside of the insulation at all times. What do you think, dude? You want this?
Ooh, it's heavy.
Okay, as I was insulating, I did find I do have a leak here at the original fitting that goes from the black poly pipe. And I'm gonna have to replace that because it's dripping. So here's the new fitting. It's actually called a pack joint, and it connects the poly pipe to the brass pipe here. It's pretty easy to fix. I just wish I would have seen it earlier. I guess I probably just tweaked it, taking apart the old fitting. All right, that new fitting fixed my leak. There's actually a rubber gasket that seals in between the poly pipe and the brass fitting. So I probably just tweaked it when I took the old one out, but we're good now. All right, here's the finished product. I got my hose hooked up to be able to drain it out. I'm all insulated, taped up my insulation, foamed around any joints, and at the top there with some expanding foam. I'm plugged into my outlet here, showing we have power. And I got the stickers that come with, just warning that there is an electric line inside this pipe. So for anyone who's poking around. I actually used this same heat tape last winter in kind of an emergency situation, just with zip ties and no insulation, no tape, nothing, just on the poly line and the PEX line, and it worked great. So this is more of a permanent install. Now this needs to be plugged into a GFCI outlet, which I'm not crazy about. I understand the safety need, but I also need to know if this GFCI trips, because obviously it's going to not be able to protect my pipes from freezing. My plan here is to install a little LED indicator light up into the living space that will be able to tell me whether my GFCI is operating or not. I'll make a video updated that when I do that, because I think it's a good solution to a problem where you have something, whether a freezer or something like this, freeze protection plugged into a GFCI outlet, that you really need to know whether it has tripped or not, and it's in a spot that you can't easily see it. We should be good to go here for the worst that the Pennsylvania winter can bring. I feel pretty good about the combination of the heat wire and the 1.5-inch insulation. Got a good secure wrapping on it, and we can turn our attention now to all this other mess of plumbing, both under this crawl space and up in the cabin itself. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button to stay up to date on all my new videos in the world of property management, renovation, Airbnbs, real estate investing in general, and pretty much any other project I get myself into. Thanks again. Appreciate the support. Don't forget to leave a comment below.